This is the Huntington Tri-State Time Machine, brought to you by Realty Exchange, the top-performing real estate company in the Huntington, West Virginia tri-state area. Each week, your host, W.G. Bunch, and his guests share memories and stories about the past, the present, and the future of the Huntington Tri-State area. That's Huntington, West Virginia, Ashland, Kentucky, and the Chesapeake and Proctorville, Ohio areas. If you used to live here or you currently live here, you're going to catch yourself saying out loud, "Wow, I remember that." Now, here's WG.
Hey, what's going on? What's happening? Welcome. Here we are. There you are. It's the Huntington Tri-State Time Machine. I'm your host, W.G. Bunch, with my special guest, Allison Enslow Neal. Allison, say hello to the audience.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, boy. Well, we're so glad you're here, and we also want to thank our sponsor, Realty Exchange. #1 in sales in the Huntington Tri-State area, licensed in Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia, as well as Florida. Recently named the best real estate firm from the Herald Dispatch Readers Poll for 2022. So we appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Yes, it's, I don't know, it's like the third year in a row.
That's amazing. That's
kind of rocking
something
it.
to be proud of. Keep up the hard work.
Absolutely. You can get in touch with Realty Exchange by going to the website realty-ex.com. You can get in touch with me if you have any specific questions about the real estate market. It's WG Bunch 304-333. That's not my number. Let's cut. I don't call myself very often. Hell,
that's so funny.
Let's keep this in so people go, this guy's a clown. from the, what is it? Hold on, let me look at my business card. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay,
get
there
that
we
number
go.
Right.
Yeah, okay, let's try it one more time from the top. Sorry. All right. You can contact me at 304-633-3950. Jeez
there
Louise.
We go.
It's a lot of numbers. It's 10 numbers in a row. All right. Here's what our topic is today. Oh, also the production company, Circle 270 Media. They do all the editing and the production, and we certainly appreciate everything that they do for the show. Our topic is, I think the name of this episode is Homesick for Huntington. Here's the deal.
Ah, yes.
Allison and I have something in common. In 1987, when we graduated high school, we went to other markets to go to school and pursue life and all that kind of stuff. The difference is 2002, 20 years ago, I came back, and I've been here now for the past 20 years, but in those 15 or 16 years, I was in Houston, and Allison, from 87, give us your, I know you've been kind of Maryland, Virginia based. Is that?
Yeah. So when I graduated from high school, I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and went to school in Charlotte for 2 years, and then transferred to Richmond, Virginia, to a school in Richmond, and was there, and then got married in 92. And then moved
shout out to
the
Todd,
Baltimore area,
Big Todd,
and I've been here ever since.
All right. So here, what we're going to talk about is kind of like when we moved, what we missed most about the Huntington Tri-State area.
Right.
What Allison still, when you come back into town, if you used to live here,
right,
there are certain places that you just kind of, from a nostalgia point of view, yes, it's like
have to go to.
Yeah. Whether it's a restaurant or whether it's need to go see the Marshall Fountain or whatever the case is. And me being back for a while, I have people that come back and visit and contact me, and they say, hey, let's go out to dinner, or let's do this. While I'm there, I want to make sure I see this or do that and that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, kind of what you get homesick for when you're not here, and that type of thing. So, I don't know if you have a story like this or not, Allison, but I remember, this would be in the 90s, and my wife at the time, we went down south, and we were off of, I think it was St. Bart's, and I worked at Stewart's Original Hot Dogs for 3 or 4 years, like in high school, and I had a Stewart's T-shirt on, and we are on this catamaran boat thing, and this couple comes up and they said, "Are you from the Huntington area?" And what gave it away? The Stewart's shirt? Yeah. I was like, I wasn't a smart ass like that, but
wow.
But I was like, I said, yeah, and they went, "Oh my God, we're from Huntington," and we didn't know each other personally or anything, but it was just like, all of a sudden, cue the Walt Disney song, "It's a Small World After All." And all of a sudden, they were our best friends for the rest of the trip. And I was like, "Hey, yeah." And, my wife at the time was like, "Can we talk about anything other than Huntington?" Like, I'm not driving this boat.
Right.
But yes, but I thought that was so cool. Have you ever run across a situation like that where you've maybe just in conversation or whatever, somebody said, "Oh yes, and I used to live in Huntington."
So like being away from Huntington longer than I ever lived in Huntington, it's weird because I still think of Huntington as home, even though I've spent more of my life in the Washington D.C. Maryland area than I ever did there. So now when I'm out and around, I see Marshall University. Either t-shirt, sweatshirt, or and so that always prompts the, "Hey, did you go to Marshall? There's a lady in my neighborhood that I was out walking the dog one day, and she walks past, and I look, and she's wearing a Marshall sweatshirt, and she is the neighbor of one of my friends."
Wow.
And I stopped her and I said, "Hey, did you go to Marshall?" She's like, "Yeah, I totally went to Marshall. I love Huntington." And so she lives in my neighborhood, and I would have never become friends with her had that Marshall connection not been there.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. And I see a lot of Marshall around. It's interesting. A little bit more here, I'll see WVU because we're a little bit, it's like 3.5 hours from us is WVU. So
yeah.
But I definitely see there's a presence, around with Marshall University. So that's always kind of been cool.
I think one of the big differences that I've seen since I've been back from when we grew up here is the way I remember it, and I've talked to several people about it, and it seems to be kind of the consensus, is 70s and 80s, Huntington was Huntington, and there were, several industries. Marshall was here, and so, and as life has changed and production of materials have changed and stuff like that, Huntington has really changed into more of a college town because Marshall the enrollment has blown up.
Yeah, it's amazing to come back and just see how much the campus has grown, right? So it used to be contained kind of between I would say 16th and 18th Streets.
Right. Yep.
Mainly, right?
Yep.
So now it just, you drive back home. And I was most recently in town for our high school reunion, and it was in August this year.
Right.
And I brought my daughter. She loves coming to Huntington. She's never lived in Huntington, but that's one of her favorite things to do is come to Huntington. She loves the feel of the town. And because she has come back with me, and my husband is from Huntington as well. So she now has, Homesick for Huntington spots that she has to go to, even though she never lived there.
Like
so
what?
It's kind of interesting to see that legacy kind of move forward. And it's been, it's been kind of neat. But Marshall is just enormous now from what I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
We used to walk to Fairfield Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And watch football games. My life was, I was raised around, the sports of Marshall, the basketball games at the Cam Henderson Center when that was first built.
Oh, I remember when they were at the field house.
Memorial Field House. That was huge. So those are the institutions that I remember that don't exist anymore, which is kind of hard. When you come, you'd walk by what used to be the stadium where we played our high school games. It's just like medical buildings now for the hospital. And so, I went for the very first time to see a football game at which I still consider the new stadium. Probably 3 years ago was the first time I've been back to Huntington to see a football game, and I went to the new stadium and was like, yeah, like that's crazy. That stadium's been around for 20 years now or more.
Oh, I think it opened in like 94 or something.
So that's still, for me, I still consider that the new stadium.
Right.
Because I remember the old stadium where I could walk as a kid to go see games. And that's what we did on the weekends. Like our Saturdays were hanging out, listening to the band, and the band would march from downtown up to the stadium. Like it was a thing that was like the memories of my childhood.
Right. Yeah. And all right. So you and Todd and your daughter, for instance, are here for 3 or 4 days for an extended weekend type of thing.
Okay. I can tell you exactly the order too, like the musts.
Hit it.
Okay. The first thing is Frost Top hot dogs. Okay. We're a Frost Top family. We grew up right around the corner from Frost Top. Like Frost Top is number one.
Now, do you know why the mug turns at the top sometimes and sometimes it doesn't?
No. Is there a reason?
No, I was hoping you would know because I don't know.
No, I just think
I have no
maybe they paid the power bill one month and they didn't. And I don't know.
People ask me all the time, and it is not the same reason why. Don't give me this whole thing about Ward's Donuts back in the day when it's
the hot sign, sign or whatever.
that ain't had nothing to do with Frost Top. Don't get it lumped in there. Anyway, go ahead.
So Frost Top is number one. Then you have to have Cam's Ham.
Cam's Ham I had for the first time.
I know, I can't believe that. I'm still just disappointed that we never did Cam's Ham together as kids. But anyway, so Cam's Ham is definitely a must. Mm-hmm. The oh my gosh, the onion rings are to die for. But then for me, it's Monty's Pizza. But
good Lord, how come I never went to these places?
I also have to have Gino's Pizza. Or pizza like rolls from Gino's.
Oh, the pepperoni rolls.
Trucks in high school, the pepperoni roll, the sausage roll. Yeah, so that's a big deal. Have to have that.
Be honest, and do your best to speak for them. We have 3 people. All right, your favorite, Monty's or Gino's?
See, I like them for different things. So I would say Monty's Pizza.
Okay.
Over Gino's Pizza.
Okay.
But then I would say Gino's for like the pub, which the pizza breads.
Look at you pulling. Okay. And what do you think Todd's favorite is?
Oh, he would say he doesn't like the pizza, I don't think, from Gino's either. He prefers Monty's Pizza. No, he likes Gino's better. He's over here. He's like shaking his head.
Is he over there right now?
So he prefers Gino's Pizza. Monty's Pizza is not his favorite.
Get Todd on the phone real quick.
Todd on the phone.
I'm
going to put you on speaker. Hold on.
Todd, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Gino's or Monty's?
Gino's.
You're saying Gino's Pizza?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have pizza wars, I guess. I prefer. I always win because we always get Monty's Pizza, but I guess he prefers the Gino. Gino's is greasier.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, true.
And Todd, your favorite hot dog in the area?
Frost Top.
All right.
With sauce and slaw, I have to have it.
A sauce and slaw.
Now, I do love a Midway hot dog, and I do love a Stewart's hot dog. So.
They're all. It's so interesting how people just think hot dogs are hot dogs and pizza is pizza, and then they come in and they're like, these are like completely different.
Right.
It's
well, and then of course, if you're gonna go, not that the hot dogs I will eat from every single one of them. I mean, literally in August, I'm telling you exactly my food tour. Yep. Then we have to go to Jim's Spaghetti.
Okay.
You have to do Jim's.
Right.
That's a must. And then I even bring Jim's home with me. So I buy quarts and quarts and quarts of sauce and a million coolers and bring it home.
Brad Tweel is going crazy right now. Awesome.
No, we see Brad when we were there. He just got married, beautiful wife. But so we also have to do Rocco's.
Oh,
now I gain 20 to 30 pounds when I come to town. That's why I don't come very often. But Rocco's is a must.
Right. Yep.
Have to do Rocco's. I like to go to the galleries. If it's not food based, I like to visit the galleries. I think Huntington has an amazing art gallery. The nature trail at the gallery is awesome. And then I lived right down the street from Ritter Park, so I like to go to Ritter Park, take a walk around Ritter Park.
Okay.
And then the arch down back where, like the pool used to be.
Yeah, where Olympic pool used to be.
Yeah. So the arch is kind of cool to go past.
Right.
And then the most recent thing that I love to do, which my daughter really is a huge fan, is the is that 14th Street where they have all like the
antique
vintage shops
district. Yep.
Yeah, that's a must. That's a whole afternoon down there. And then I love to drive downtown just to see how much it's changed. Like we didn't have the super block. That was all the talk. Like that's where we used to cruise. But now to go down there and see everything that's built up down there and see like downtown Huntington, kind of some life has been like restored, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yep.
But I miss the old days, and these don't exist anymore. Like,
what
I'm going to say?
Hold on, let me get some Kleenexes. Hold on.
You know what I'm going to say? It's Chili Willy's.
See, I didn't do. I mean, man,
Chili Willy's.
It's first of all, it gets brought up on just about every episode.
Yeah,
and
it was amazing. But they moved, and when they moved, it died. Like it jumped the shark for sure. Like Chili Willy's in its original location was it. And then when they moved, I went there once and never went again.
But when you went to Chili Willy's, was it while you lived here or when you came back to visit?
When I would come back to visit. A little bit when I lived there, I think, but mainly when I would come back.
I think I maybe went once when I lived here. When you live in Houston, Texas, the last thing I want to do is...
You're not coming often.
I'm not.
So I was closer, and I would come back somewhat frequently.
But no, I mean, the last thing I want to do is come back to Huntington, West Virginia, and have Tex-Mex.
And go to Chili Willy's, right?
I was like...
I get it.
Yeah, I was
that
like...
But you would always stink to high heaven. Everybody would know you had been to Chili Willy's.
Oh, God. Okay.
Because they'd be like, oh, you ate at Chili Willy's, right? And they're like, yeah, because you smelled of it. Like it's yes.
Oh.
When you left, everybody knew you ate there.
Wow. I didn't ever thought about that. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Very true.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yep. I guess all the sizzling fajitas coming out and the kitchen was kind of open air. Like you'd watch them cooking it.
Oh. See, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
It wasn't like hidden in the back from what I remember. Like it was kind of right there. So you just really smelled of it.
See,
and then Heritage Station.
Yeah.
Heritage Station was a huge place. Oh my gosh.
My sister used to work there like when she was going between her senior year. It was the first year they were open.
Yeah.
And Harrison was the manager, and they had the train at the top, right. And French onion soup and all this crazy stuff like that and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty wild when people come into town. I had a couple buddies come in about 4 or 5 years ago, and we had a boys' night out, and before we knew it, it was 3 or 4 in the morning, and we had scaled the fence, and we were at Safety Town.
Safety
trying to get the cars to start. No, I'm kidding. We didn't really do that. No, I don't need the law to come visit me. That was a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah,
we didn't really do that. Yes, but that is one place that people who haven't been here for a while, it's interesting to me because and also being a realtor in town, that's kind of my job. Is I'm like ambassador and tour guide, and here's why you should work at Marshall Health instead of the hospital in Louisville. Is we have this and this and this. So I've kind of perfected the whole here. Here are the showcase places, and the people that come in and they're like, I haven't been to Huntington in 20 years, and but I'm coming back because we're selling my mom's house, and we're gonna put her in a condo or whatever, and they contact me to take care of that stuff. But also, so while I'm there for a weekend, give me a tour. I want to see this and that. And of course,
that's what I do. Same thing. I come home, I get in the car, and I just drive around.
Yeah, they're like.
I could drive around for hours. I drive up Fifth Street Hill. Up to the galleries. I drive down the back road, back past the galleries. I go like, I mean, it's just, I just drive. The houses are so beautiful and the architecture is amazing.
Very true.
I mean, you just don't see that anywhere else. And it's just, I love to drive through Ritter Park and up and around the park and down to the West End and the East End and look at like, I always drive past Camac and Huntington High and sometimes out by East. I mean, there's so much to see. I mean, it's just, and it's kind of nice to see how it's changed and to see how much Marshall has grown. It's really kind of interesting.
And
it's neat.
I would think, I think a lot of people would say that about their hometown. Oh, I love going back to my hometown. But I do know people who are like, I don't go back to my hometown. I mean, I do.
I know. I hear that too.
If I have to go back for a funeral or something, but and I'm not going to get deep into any kind of like psychology or anything, but I'm
right.
Like, well, if you don't like going back, but I think most people love to come back and I just feel like the whole Huntington Tri-State area has done a great job of keeping the character of the town and I have to admit, and maybe it was our age or something, but in the 80s it kind of felt like stagnant a little bit.
Right.
It was like, when will something happen?
This is a true story. Like, I graduated from high school on, let's think about this. I think our graduation was the 4th of June. My sister got married on the 6th of June, and on the 8th of June, a U-Haul was packed, and I left Huntington, and I've never lived there again.
Okay, that's a ringing endorsement. Where were we going?
I'm serious, because here's the thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When we grew up there,
right.
It was the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of opportunity. Like, so I left thinking, oh my God, I couldn't wait. This is very true. Mm-hmm. I couldn't wait to get out of Huntington. I couldn't wait to see the big world, the whole thing.
Right.
And I will be honest, I came back to Huntington like at least once a month when I went off to school. And my whole outlook and thought about Huntington has changed since I have had my own kids. And it's just that sense of community that Huntington instilled. Like, we are still friendly with a lot of people that we grew up with. And we were all very close, right. And we've remained in touch, and we've, continued, those friendships continue today. And I don't know a lot of people that can say that. I mean, it was just a really kind of unique environment to grow up in. And we had a lot of freedom, and I don't know. It was a pretty unique experience. And for that, I'm very grateful to Huntington. I love coming back there. So much so that my kids now love coming back, even though they never lived there.
Yeah.
They feel very connected to Huntington as well. It's a super special place. Here's a funny story. So I've been in Baltimore for a long time. A friend of mine, I'm looking at Facebook. This is this summer, or the late summer. And all of a sudden I see the picture of hillbilly hot dogs on her face. And she's from here.
Yeah.
I see hillbilly hot dogs. I see the big pink elephant.
Right.
She is driving her son, who is a freshman at Baylor University, and they drove through Huntington on this road trip. And she was so enamored by Huntington, she took all these pictures, and I literally died.
Wow.
So I called her, and I'm like, Jamie, that is where I grew up. And she was like, oh my gosh, it's such a cool place. It was so unique and funky and fun, and they absolutely loved their time there.
Aww.
And it's just so bizarre how those two worlds kind of collided. It was just very, very fond memories of that place.
Yeah, and I think I'm in the same boat as you. When I graduated and when I went to Houston, I would only come back about once a year, just because of travel, and also I was trying to get my feet wet in radio and DJing, and it was like that's when I could do the most. They're like, hey, everybody's on vacation. This is your time to get some time on air and in the clubs and all that stuff. But when I would come home once a year, the first few years I was a total snob and same. Oh my God, you all don't know what you're missing out there.
Exactly.
And, it's so much. And and
then you learn real quick that that's not.
And I think
true.
it comes with age. Yeah, and I think it was something where I just kind of went, at some point, and I don't think it matters where you live, big market or small market. It doesn't have to be Huntington or what. I think it's the people you're with, not necessarily where you are. You can be anywhere and be unhappy, and you can be anywhere and be completely content and just overjoyed with life. I don't think it's necessarily the structures around you. I think it's about, wow, I'm totally getting all deep. Look at this.
Deep.
I know. I'm good. God, I'm going to fill out a resume.
Like the roots are deep there. Like they run deep.
Yes.
From that town, and they have spread far and wide. And we are all still connected. And maybe it has to do with Marshall. Maybe it has to do with the plane crash. Maybe, there's so many reasons that there's a lot of pride surrounding Huntington.
I'm giving you background music. Keep going.
Oh, gosh.
I'm making this.
I don't know. I feel like now I need to come visit. I feel like it's been a couple months. I need to come back. So there's just a lot of really strong feelings associated with that town and a lot of amazing memories. And it just is really a cool place to come from and to go back to. So
now I only have one. This is my main complaint. I've been back 20 years.
Okay.
I don't know how we can get this fixed. It has nothing to do about potholes or politics. I don't know how. I don't know how we get this fixed. The only place to get fried chicken in this place is Kentucky Fried Chicken. We have no.
So we have Popeyes.
Damn you! Wait a second.
In my little tiny town outside of Baltimore, we have Popeyes.
And I know these chains obviously do their market research. They tried to open. They did open like this Bojangles place a few years ago, but they opened like 20 of them at the same time.
Oh,
no. And they all are close.
Yeah, but oh gosh, Tudor's Biscuit World. Totally forgot about Tudor's. We don't have anything like that here.
Tudor's,
but that's a must when I come home too.
Tudor's has a line around their building at like 11 o'clock, and I'm like,
I can't believe I forgot about Tudor's.
Yeah.
Yes,
but fried chicken.
I know.
If anybody anybody at the higher ups, Cane's, please come to me.
Please. Popeyes, Bojangles.
Now, let me tell you something. You could put me up against a brick wall, and for 30 minutes, I would let people throw rocks and trash at me nonstop. If the reward was, after we do this, you can have a Popeyes in Huntington. And you want to talk about sounding like a small town boy. When I go on vacation now, and they're like, "All right, so what do you want to do?" I'm like, "You'll have a Popeyes," and they're like. And I end up going to Popeye, and they're like, and don't ever.
I do love Popeyes.
Don't ever. I don't care who you are out there. Don't ever let me hear you say this. Popeyes isn't even that good. I will
really
beat your ass. Pardon my language, but don't you
quite
ever.
Yummy.
And it's kind of become a joke where I go visit friends out of town, and and I'm like, "Can we go to Popeyes?" And they're like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yep.
And they're like, "Okay." And then when we get there, we go in, and they go, "This is my friend from West Virginia. They don't have Popeyes." And every time, whoever's taking the order, their eyes get huge, and their head cocks back like, "What? You don't have Popeyes?" I'm like, okay. I'm like, "What's the biggest order you have?"
Yeah.
And they're like, this is for a family of 6. And I'm like, "I'll take it." And my friend's like, "What are you doing, dum-dum?" I'm like, "It's Popeye." 3 days later, I'm like, they come get me at the hotel, and they're like, "Where are you?" I'm like, They come into my room and they're like, "Why is your mouth all orange?"
Popeye's
and
coma.
I'm like, "I'm Popeyes. I can't feel my lips; they're numb." And they're like,
"Oh my gosh,
dude, you need like rehab for Popeyes," which I don't know where that is. Please, God, I'm begging.
Please come to Huntington.
I'm begging you. Please, hey, you need commercial space? Call me, baby.
Yeah, right. There you go.
I'm not going to say, I can't say that I can waive my commission because that's not my call, but I'll do everything I can to bring you here, Popeyes, please.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's.
Well, on that note, now I need to hang up and go get Popeyes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and just douse it with spices. And I have nothing against Kentucky. God bless the Colonel, but
I know.
I mean, there's room for both. I think what you and I agree on is it has certainly evolved, in my opinion, for the positive over 20 years or 30 years or whatever, and. We're not here's something interesting. When I was putting the podcast together, and they said, and Circle 270 Media said, "Okay, what is your podcast going to be about?" We talked about it. I didn't realize that what they consider, quote unquote, the Huntington Tri-State metro area. How many people do you think live in it?
Gosh.
And I'm not kidding. This is going to be a real number, not a kidding number.
So this is a number, the Huntington Tri-State area.
Which is going to be Huntington and Lawrence County, Ohio, and the Ashland, Kentucky area, Wayne County, over into Putnam, not into Charleston.
Oh, 100,000?
320,000 people live here.
Get out.
I had no idea.
No idea.
And they said, yeah, I mean, it's a big area. It's just... It's spread out.
No idea.
And, but yeah, you've got, I mean, thousands and thousands of people live in and work in the medical community and at Marshall and they're like, yeah. And it's just, but it's not central like it used to be all in Huntington. And that's why when we were coming up with the podcast, they were like, it should be the Huntington Tri-State, time machine because people from around are going to be listening. So anyway,
that's cool.
I love living here, and I love talking to people like you who used to live here, and there are so many memories from this place, memories still to be made. And
I know. Hey, it's fun to reminisce, so I thank you for that.
Even if I don't know who you are, if you come back to the area and you want some sort of neighborhood tour or hey, can you show us around? Obviously, real estate needs and stuff, that's a given. But contact me because I love showing this place off. So, I get 304-633-3950. And I would love to showcase this place where Allison and I grew up. Allison's alwaalys going to be my Jamie Summers bionic woman.
Oh my God!
And I'm always going to be the
Steve Austin.
That's from our kindergarten years. So anyway, all right. Did you have a good time, Allison?
I had a great time. Thank you. Now I'm starving, but yes, I had a great time.
And special shout out to our cameo from Todd. Rock on,
Todd. He's already moved on. He's feeding the dog.
That's God love him though. So, all right, everybody.
But he's happy to be a part of it.
Check out the other episodes, and again, questions, comments, suggestions, all that stuff. Go to the Facebook page, Huntington Tri-State Time Machine. Leave your feedback. That's constantly monitored. We'll get back to you. So, thank you so much, Allison. And
thank you. We are out of here.
Thanks for listening to the Huntington Tri-State Time Machine, brought to you by Realty Exchange, the top performing real estate company in the Huntington, West Virginia tri-state area. If you have a memory you would want WG to talk more about, just send him an email at memories@htstimemachine.com or post a comment on the Time Machine Facebook group page. Did you like this episode? Be sure to share it with friends and family. You can find a link in the show notes that you can use to share it. And be sure to let Realty Exchange know that you like the podcast as well. Their contact information can be found in this episode's show notes.